somebody is in trouble. So a Daily Beast review got posted before the embargo was over, which I think is like 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday, the 8th. So they weren't supposed to put that review out there, and they did. So I don't know if WB is going to be having some sort of legal thing with them or not. I'm not sure what's going to happen there. The actual reviewer themselves, I don't think is going to get in any trouble because this is probably somebody that the reviewer would have known about the embargo. It's probably the ones that are in charge of posting it that got in trouble. But the bad thing is what was said. A few of you have told me about this and in random videos and commented. And at first, my initial reaction was, I'm not concerned. That was what my initial reaction was. I don't even know this could be a stunt. I hadn't really looked into it. I really had no idea. But this kind of stuff happens, So it's not really crazy that it would happen to this movie. But I will tell you at the end of this video whether or not my initial reaction has changed from unconcerned. Let's kind of take a look. I'm here looking at comicbookmovie.com's article on it. And the title of their article on the article is Superman First Review Calls DCU Reboot Superficial and Silly and bemoans terrible, overstuffed movie. Obviously, there have been concerns since the beginning when we saw Green Lantern, we saw Hawkgirl, we saw Metamorpho, we saw Mr. Terrific, we saw Ultraman, and then there's Lex and Clark and Lois and Superman. We all kind of had those thoughts at first. Now, personally, I think it probably will be handled well. James Gunn is very familiar with handling lots of characters. I don't know why he'd screw it up on this one, but it's possible. It's possible that he could have. The superficial and silly part, I don't really know what they mean by superficial, but the silly part, I think, might have a little bit of hypocrisy in it. We'll see in a second here. So let's see. They said, let me scroll down here. The review embargo for Superman lifts next week. However, the Daily Beast inadvertently published its verdict last night, and while the site took it down pretty fast, it was up long enough to cast quite a stir among fans on social media. I was dark yesterday because I was doing my July 4th on July 3rd. So I hadn't actually really even heard of it. I was kind of staying off the media. Y'all may have noticed my slow commenting on my videos. But, I hadn't heard much about it. They said that they weren't going to name the critic, which is a good idea, even though I really would like to know. Because they said that the critic had done, they're not a superhero hater. They've done superhero, this is something I was really interested in knowing. They've done superhero reviews before, and they gave movies like Thunderbolts, Across the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, all positive reviews. What's interesting to me is that they named Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 as one of those positive interviews because of that trilogy. I always felt like the third was the worst one. Now I'm going to say it, and I'm not going to say it's bad. I didn't come out of that one going, ugh, that was terrible. I just didn't like it as much as the first or the second. And some people like the second more, some people like the first more. I'm that way with movies, though, like Toy Story. I love the first one the most, I'm that way with a lot of movies. But the first one I liked a lot. So I'd like to know their names so I could go and see what they said about the first one. If they gave it a bad review or whatever, because the first one did well enough to grant, 2 more movies. And that is interesting information. Now, here's where it starts to get kind of dicey for me. The review begins by saying the reboot resembles a Saturday morning cartoon that's overstuffed. When I saw Saturday morning cartoon, I was like, heck yes. All I can think of is Fleischer cartoons, the 90s Superman, the animated series. I'm not, there's Justice League cartoons. I'm not unhappy when I hear Saturday morning cartoon. Will the general populace be unhappy when they hear that? That could be very possible. It says it promises plenty of action, but adds that the film is awash in over-the-top CGI insanity that is slam bang mayhem. Oh, that its slam bang mayhem loses its punch. Help me out in the comments. Tell me what you think this means. The film is so awash in over-the-top CGI insanity that its slam bang mayhem loses its punch. Is it saying that there's so much action that you're kind of like, okay, all right, when's the story gonna get here? Like, is that what kind of what it's saying, or is it saying that like it focuses so much on so much CGI and so much action that it kind of forgot to focus? I'm saying the same thing over again. Focus on the story. I don't know. That's what it sounds like to me. Let me know if I'm misinterpreting that, but that's kind of what it sounds like to me. Like the story maybe isn't focused on because they're so focused on the CGI. I mean, when they were writing the script, they wouldn't have been focused on the CGI so much. They would have just been focused on the story. So I don't see how the same director that wrote it could have lost that translation. But to me, the CGI that I've seen in the commercials doesn't look bad at all. I think it looks great and fantastic. I remember in Guardians of the Galaxy 1 when Peter Quill went to that first planet to go and to the fence and give his little, Infinity Stone ball orb thing that I didn't know what it was to get it fenced off. That planet looked amazing. It was bright. It was foreign. That's what this movie looks like to me when I see scenes. It looks like that. It looks very, very bright, very good, very distinct, very crystal, very clear. People are saying that looks bad. I don't really understand that because I feel like maybe they've just seen so much bad CGI over the years and gotten used to it that they kind of give excuses for it. And maybe that's what it means that the CGI is so over the top, like it's just everywhere. It's on everything that they, I don't know. We'll see. But next, moving on. I'm focusing too much on that. It says the cast also doesn't receive much in the way of praise, while the review points out that David Cornsweet looks the part. Compared to Christopher Reeve and Henry Cavill, he comes across as relatively slight, a situation exacerbated by the all over the place nature of his saga. One of the complaints I have about All-Star Superman, which this, has drawn some influence from, is that it's kind of all over the place. It has a main storyline that you really have to have a certain type of brain to be focused on it throughout the entirety while reading this. Your brain tells you it's about Superman dying, but what it's really about is the good that he does in these 12 feats throughout his last, is it month? I can't remember. And, it's a very, it takes a lot of thinking. The way he's talking doesn't sound like it takes a lot of thinking. It sounds like it's just not well done. Or she. It sounds like Superman rarely lets up, as the movie reportedly asks to hold on for dear life as it whiplashes about from one out-of-this-world locale and incident to another. That sounds like a comic book. That really does just sound like a comic book. There are also concerns that non-fans will find themselves adrift due to the movie's endless geekiness, with James Gunn's script accused of the feigning interest in actual emotion. I find that strange. Most comic book movies, I feel like you are out of the loop on a lot of stuff, but the fact that you're out of the loop doesn't matter. Like, people not knowing that we know who Ultraman is isn't going to hurt them. It might actually help them enjoy the movie. When I say we all know, we all think we know that Superman is just Ultraman, but that might not be the case here since they covered his face. Moving on, the humor is said to be lacking, as is the relationship between Clark Kent and Lois Lane. Nicholas Holt's performance is overshadowed by the haphazard plot, largely because Superman gets tangled up in fanciful nonsense that soon renders the entire affair superficial and silly. Superman gets tangled up in fanciful nonsense that renders the entire affair superficial and silly. This is a great review, first of all, because they have not spoiled anything. But it really sucks because I have no idea what the context of what they're saying is. Superman gets tangled up in fanciful. Tell me what does that mean? That he's getting tangled up in fanciful nonsense. That's what a comic book is. It's fanciful nonsense, and it renders the entire affair superficial and silly. I don't know. I can't make heads or tails of that. Most troubling is a comparison to Joss Whedon's Justice League. As Superman overpopulates itself with heroes and villains, it has neither the time nor the inclination to develop. Consequently, everyone and everything is two-dimensional, no matter that the director's imagery is sharp and vibrant. Okay, so it sounds like they're not knocking the CGI. But it does sound like they are disappointed with the amount of stuff in the movie. And that could be the case. Or it could just be that the person was so out of the loop on this, they didn't have a clue what was going on. And to top it off, the headline is Terrible New Superman is Final Nail in Superhero Cinema's Coffin. That is definitely a rage-baiting, clickbaity title. Of course, that's just what you have to do to get attention on social media. But basically, they're saying that this movie is so bad that it will be the end of superhero movies in general. I don't know if it's going to have that kind of power. I really don't. And what is a superhero movie? What qualifies? I mean, does it have to be from a comic book? But I don't know. The review definitely sounds like the person just hated it. We have heard early screening reactions, which you don't know if they're true or not. This here is true. This is the person's actual reaction because they messed up. They put it out. The early screening reactions, we never know if they're true or not because the people aren't allowed to say anything. So when you do hear stuff, you don't know where it came from. But generally speaking, they were good. The only complaints that people had were ones that didn't give me any concern at all. So does this review give me concern? I'm mildly concerned that the heat on it will go around and affect people to not even want to see it. However, people like Tyrone Magnus are saying that he wish he had gotten early tickets after hearing this because it's like, well, now I got to know for myself. I got to know. I got to get that review and get it out. I'm going to review this movie on the 8th, and I'm going to see it at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. So probably by 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, I should have my first initial review out. It will just be me out of the theater with my phone, just recording myself coming out. I will not do any spoilers on that review. Don't worry about it. Feel free to watch it. I'm not going to spoil up the movie when I first come out of the theater. I will do a spoiler review, but it'll be clearly marked in the thumbnail and the title and the first intro in the video. I'll also do a video on stuff I love, video on stuff I hate. I'll have it all there, but the first initial review when I come out will be probably around 10 o'clock, if I can get it out fast enough. CST, and I'll do it. So I don't know, guys. I need to know if you think that this article, this messing up the Daily Beast, if it is a concern, or if you think that it's probably just not up their alley. Because again, it said that they reviewed movies like Spider-Man, so they've been around a while, and then they reviewed Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 positively, which, what did they say about 2 and 1? Because if they didn't like 1 or 2, I'm very confused. You know what I mean? Why would you not like 1 or 2 in Guardians of the Galaxy, but you only liked 3? I personally thought 1 was the best. I really enjoyed that one. So I don't know. I would really like to hear y'all's opinions of what's going on here. I don't know. I mean, it could just be one bad review. Every movie has scathing reviews from important people. That's just the way it is. It's just, how many more are there going to be? I don't know. Watch this video, please.